and welcome to the Limited Adhesion GT3 Round 3 at Imola. Tonight I'm joined in the commentary booth by Random Dave. How are you tonight, Dave?
I'm really good. I'm pleased to have you back, Chris, because we had this guy in here a couple of weeks ago. Don't know where we got him from, and he talked about farm shops and ladyboys.
That's absolutely disgusting. He shouldn't be allowed back on. In fact, we should ban him from the channel. In a serious note, thanks to everyone who stepped in. Absolutely amazing commentary. I've enjoyed listening to it whilst on holiday. So we'll go straight into it, and we're into championship standings. Rick Barrow leading the way on 103 points, followed by Rhys Crichton in the lofty position of second on 96. Michael Messenger, Ollie Walker and Lee Harding rounding out the top 5, followed by Steve Greening, Don Parker and last season's champion Andres Fulgrave on 52. Ollie Walker and Tour Milan rounding out the top 10. And we do have a couple of absentees tonight. I think Andres and obviously Rob Miller and I think possibly a couple of others are not going to join us tonight. In the Club 1500, Janeman Pruis leading the way in 115 points, followed by Stephen Cakebread, Stephen Kernick, as it is an all South African top 3. Mark Innis will be looking to break that as he won last race and is sitting in 4th on 71 points, followed by Mitchell Day, Stu Gerber, Jason Weaver, Chris White, Dan Rice and Manuel Cruz in the top 10. Of course, many people will still have their drop weeks to take over the course of the season, so still all to play for. And as we see the championship standings for the teams, Sleepy Time Racing leading the way on 173 points. I think that's Rick Barrow and Lee Harding. Risky Racing Blue on 156 and Risky Racing Orange on 148, and Black Pink not too far behind. Then a bit of a jump, so those top 4 seem to be battling out for the lead. In Club 1500, Team Heat Together well out in front, 187, followed by Lefties on 138 points. McLaren, who have had a couple of drop weeks already, on 98, so they have a lot of work to do to catch up. And Team Tryhard and Team Fet, TRH Sim Sport and a few others still down below. So penalties from the last race at Watkins Glen. Driver number 184 got up 1 point. Driver 7 got 2 points for this collision, collecting a couple of people there. Driver number 106, that's Shane Abbott, getting 2 points for that small shunt at the kind of chicane at the top of the hill. A little bit unfortunate collecting Stephen Greening there. And Jake Weaver, number 27, getting 3 points on his license for this, and he's going to start from the pits this race should he appear. It's a bit of a smash, but
it's always the same down that straight, isn't it? Areas are so close. Yeah.
And 1 point for Sam Stott for an unsafe rejoin. Yeah, a bit unfortunate, but I can see why that's been given.
Yeah, he kind of he stays on the curb. It's not outrageous, but yeah, I don't disagree.
Possibly, I think this is Dan Rice picking up 1 point for that small collision. So, in the practice results, Lee Harding setting the pace with a 1 minute 42.271. David Lyon from the Rumble Bees not too far behind, and then Rick Barrow obviously is Lee Harding's teammate in 3rd place. So it's the usual suspects at the top, and we'll see how that transfers into the qualifying times as well. Jeff Hancock and Stu Gerber leading the way in the Club 1500, followed by Mark Innis, the last race winner, and Stephen Cakebread and Chris Forrest in the top 5 for that split. Any favourites for today, Dave? Do you have any favourites in mind?
I think it's got to be one of the Sleepy Time boys, really. I'd nearly always say Michael Messenger, but he's driving the Ford today, so I don't know why he's doing that, but he's surely not in the Ford.
That is quite some statement, especially from Michael Messenger to drive the Ford around Imola. I suspect it's going to be quite harsh on the sausage curves which you find around here. So Rick Barrow, as suspected is setting pole, 142.574. David Lyon 3/10 off from that, and Lee Harding in third. Ollie Walker, quite a good showing from him, beating Steve Greening to fourth, and Ollie Ettridge actually and Rhys Crichton doing really well. So, okay, we haven't got Gavin Kelly or Rob Miller around, but that's really well done for those guys, beating the likes of Shane Abbott. Shane Abbott's very quick. Don Parker in 12th, Michael Messenger in 11th as well. I would have expected them to be a little bit higher, but all to play for. I'm going to put Mike Messenger's position down to using the Ford. It appears if that Chris Forrester's got pole position in the Club 1500. Congratulations to him. Jake Weaver will be starting from the pit lane due to that penalty, if you remember. But it looks like we're going to have a 33 or 34 car grid. Stephen Cakewood, it looks like, hasn't made the grid due to packet loss. That's really unfortunate for him, but we hope to see him in the next race.
It's good to see Will Bennett back as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's missed a few, hasn't he? So it's good to see him back.
Yeah.
One of the original limited adhesion people.
Yeah, absolutely. In his trademark pink liveries. So David Lyon's very eager to get ahead. I do like his livery, that matte black and gold finish. The pace car's already in. Rick Barrows. Wonder if this is a tactical start. Don't seem to have got away yet.
No, he's still. Yeah, he's sort of teasing a little bit, isn't he? Not not over the top, but just a tiny bit.
And now they finally get underway. Barney's waving his green flag, and it looks already as though Lee Harding's made up a position on David Lyon. It's the end of the first corner. Are we going to see any shunts? They seem to have got into formation. Rhys Crichton's overtook Tour Malaran. Ollie Ettridge is overtaking Steve Greening. So those top three have got away. As we see further back in the field, it looks like someone just went off in the background. Hopefully, I think they've managed to save it without getting any damage. Great start from Rhys Crichton there. And I think that's Marin Hugovan in the Mercedes in 9th. And Shane Abbott leading the way for Arse Racing. Oh, and a small shunt there from Dan Hill. That's collected a couple of cars. Don't like to see that, but it looks like a racing incident as we see Chris Forrester, and I think it is Sam Stott in his EasyJet QRS livery going off at the Variante Alta. It's the very tight chicane. And we see Mark Innis and I think that's Jeff Hancock's battling for first position in the Club 1500.
So it's quite a tough track for off tracks. This it's I don't know if we're allowed 12 or 17 here. I'd quite like to see a stat for that, because I think it's going to be tough getting through this race without running up 12 or 17 off tracks here. Yeah. Especially through that chicane. It's you can't just clobber over the apex, like you can only put half a car over it.
Yeah, as we see Paul Gerber going off the track. Yeah, and especially if you're gonna get a drive through, it's a very long pit lane as well. As we see a replay of the start, and I think it's a stop start. People are just getting a little bit confused, a little bit impatient. And it looks like a couple of teammates coming together. It looks like Don Parker and Merrin. Sam Stott eager to get away, collecting what looks like Mark Innis in the rear. Yeah, disappointing qualifying from Sam. I think he'll be disappointed himself with that. I would expect him to be further up, but he's got time to make amends. As we see Mark Innis still chasing down Jeff Hancock's. And there's Paul Gerber after his spin. Back to the front, Ollie Walker, and that looks like he's got Stephen Greening chasing him down. As Rhys Crichton sets the fastest lap of the race so far.
Yeah, I think, you know, with Rhys, I mean, obviously, yeah, I think obviously he's 6th here. That sounds good, but I mean, remember that he got 2nd, I think, at Silverstone, and the fastest lap, I think.
Oh, really? Oh, and that's Jake Weaver in the wall, and Andrew Edwards off the track. So they must have had a coming together. Right. Looks like David Lyon is just dropping off those front two. Yeah, we can just see on the interval there, it's just over a second. He might fall into the clutches of Ollie Walker and Steve Greening, but he might be hoping that they start squabbling amongst themselves so he can break away. As we see Sam Stott, he'll be wanting to get ahead of these Club 1500 members. He puts his nose in front at Piratella in typical fashion. So how do you see this race being played out pit stop wise, Dave? Do you see it taking it as far as you can, or because due to the kind of nature of the track, it's not a very wide track, do you see that you're going to have to plan out where you come out from the pit lane and maybe have to drop in early?
I mean, it comes down to sort of the usual stuff, I think I'd probably normally say, in that, you know, if you're stuck behind somebody and they're slowing you down, you might pit early, but otherwise, you know, you've got to watch out. If you're out front and you've got a big gap and you've pulled away 20-30 seconds from the entire, you know, from most of the field, then you can come in, right? You can come in and it doesn't matter. But if you come in and then when you come out, you're stuck behind some people that are just a little bit slower than you, it just completely ruins your race. So the safest thing to do is just run long.
Yeah. As we've just seen, Will Burnett went off in a spin, but he seems to have recovered. Michael Messenger dropping down the order, so something might have happened to him.
He's in a Ford.
Wow.
That's what's happened to him. I don't think that happened to him. I think it was a choice.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the car of choice I would have picked for Imola. It just doesn't seem. Maybe it's a bit of fun just to try test it out, I guess. Yeah,
I mean the thing is, when we last raced here, the Fords did quite well. It was sort of a bit of a revelation, really. I think Gareth Winslade drove a Ford here, and it was his best race of the season. Although that doesn't say a lot, really, because it was pretty terrible. Apart from that, yeah.
And of course, our shout out to Gareth. We'd love to see him back sometime in the GT3s. He's currently focusing on the F3s, I believe, and he's doing pretty well in that championship. As we see Chris Forster, he's made up some time and latched onto the back of Mark Innis. He's doing great, considering his first race wasn't too spectacular. He's made amends with that, and his second race and third race seem to be much improved. Great to see. So Ollie Walker, Steve Greening now caught onto the back of David Lyon, and is Ollie going to shove it up into the first corner? He's right on the rear.
Tiny bit of contact there.
Yeah.
And I think that's just allowed Steve to get through.
You're right. They've made it stick, and that looks like Rhys Crichton is also
pretty
looking.
close. Was there contact again there between Ollie and Steve?
I think, yeah, it might have been a small bit of contact. Nothing these GT3s can't handle, but yeah, Ollie will be disappointed to lose the position. He must be saving energy because I don't see the lights flashing just yet.
Yeah, he normally does that, doesn't he? And a bit of a weave now and again. But he's in fifth. I mean, that's it's a good position. You have to remember it's like 34 drivers there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we've just seen a replay of Andrew Edwards having a spin and unfortunately collecting Jake Weaver just by netcode. And Marin Hugovin in the Mercedes, I guess that rear end power caught him out, and this was it. This is Mike Messenger taking a chunk of the sausage curb.
It's a Ford in its natural habitat. On the subject of netcode, actually, I'm as a software engineer, I want to start a campaign to stop calling it netcode, because I don't think it's code. I think it's network latency. But to start calling it network latency and not netcode, because we can't blame the software engineers for these problems. They're doing the best they can.
You heard it here first. So we're going to refer to it as a latency issue.
Yeah.
Hereforth. We'll change one iRacing league at a time. Don't worry about that, Dave. And it appears that David Lyne has lost position to Steve Greening. He's not going to be happy with that, but just looks like he's not getting into a rhythm here at the moment.
It looked a bit like Steve just drove straight past him down the straight there as well, so
yeah
maybe could be a difference in downforce.
Difference in setups, I think. And it appears that I'd just seen the background that Sam Stott was stopped on the track. We'll get the St John's ambulance people out to him, make sure he's alright, even though they might not work in Imola itself. There is a bit of a train of cars here that are battling for 4th position and 3rd position in the top split. Not as many top split guys in this race tonight, but we'll see some of them back, like Gavin Kelly. Hopefully we'll see Rob Miller. I guess he's busy with the work commitments at the moment, this time of year.
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to get the Mercedes ready, F1 car ready, isn't he? So we're pretty busy.
Yeah, and it appears that Sam is stuck on track. I guess he's receiving medical attention. We'll have to roll it back to the pits.
I think Sam's been having problems with his arm popping out of his socket. And that's it's been causing him a few issues.
Yeah, that's not good.
Sim racers, we're athletes too.
Yeah, well, we'll need to get insured next and have proper physio. So we've just seen Ollie Walker make a move on David Lyne, and Rhys Crichton is not too far behind, but I think there's Rhys in the BMW. It might be a bit of a bigger task to. Oh no, he's
in the Audi.
Yeah, I do apologise. It's the other one that's in the BMW.
Yeah, that's Ollie in the BMW. Yeah.
So I wonder whether it's a car choice for Dave, or it's maybe it's the setup. Maybe it's the setup. Maybe it's just a lot of downforce. He's going to lose time on the straights.
I think sometimes some cars. I think I've looked at the VRS setups, and all of the. I think out of the VRS lap times, I think the McLaren. Obviously, you've got different people driving the VRS laps, but the McLaren had the fastest lap out of all of them. It was the fastest VRS lap. But how did it get that lap? Was it loads of downforce, which might get you a lap, but can it? Are you just going to get overtaken on the straights?
Yeah, exactly. You can't sustain it for the full race. As we see Jeff Hancock, he's just went off the track at, I think that must be Variante Villeneuve, just before Tosa, and subsequently lets Mark Innis take 1st position in the Club 1500 split. And Sam Stott, this is a replay of him having that issue, possibly injured by his force feedback. So on board Ollie Walker, he's got David Lyne about half a second back down the road. Tour Millard just stalking in the background. I think he's just going to be happy to sit behind these guys, let them battle it out, and take advantage of any mistakes or mishaps. And we can see Don Parker in the background there. He's having a quiet race, but he might be looking to latch onto the back of these guys as well.
Yeah, I mean he's there, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's keeping with them.
Absolutely. Yeah, as long as these guys keep battling, they're going to lose time to him.
And Mallorin's doing. I mean, where did Mallorin qualify? I thought he's gained a few places, hasn't he? Really?
Yeah, I think so. Shane Abbott's a bit too far back. But Shane is still pretty quick himself.
Oh no! Look, Mallorin's where he started. Yeah. Dom's made a few. Yeah.
Yeah, well done, Dom. Must be commended. Dan Rice made up 11 positions. Well done to Dan in the Club 1500. That's a great effort so far. So Marin Hugovin trying to make amends from his couple of spins earlier.
It's got to be said, I mean, in qualifying for these races, we give you, is it 10 or 15 minutes? Settle up.
Yeah, I think it's usually 10 minutes, isn't it?
Yeah, which is, I mean, this is a reasonably difficult track to set a legal lap time on because of the off tracks. But even so, if we just give you 10 minutes, like it was 4 or 5 attempts, really, so it's quite easy just to not do one.
It is indeed, yeah, and I think that's what Sam Stott must have found out the hard way. He had to just set a banker lap, and as we see, the top 3 of the Club 1500 have kind of ran away, and Mark Innis has set the fastest lap in that split. So it's Mark Innis, Jeff Hancock and Chris Forrester leading the way in that split at the moment. The top split seemed to have kind of settled down for the moment. We still have quite a number of cars still racing, which is great to see. Not too many heavy shunts. As we see, Ollie Ettridge chasing down his teammate Rhys. Looks like Dave's built a little bit of a gap in front of them, and he's managed to hold on to Ollie Walker by the looks of it. Oh, and that's Ollie Ettridge off. A little bit too much pace going into the Variante Alta, that really sharp chicane. It's an easy thing to do, but he hasn't lost too much time by the looks of it, and I think he must get a slow down. So yeah, you can see Dave seems to be losing a bit of time on the straights here compared to Ollie, and that's another picture of a Ford going off, and this time it's Mitchell Day from the lefties, but he's kept it in one piece and lives to fight another day. Great to see Mitchell up there.
So I mean, Andrus not being here that's the big one missing, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, that's going to count towards his drop weeks, I think. But that's for the other guys to take advantage and gain those extra points, really. And guys like Rhys, Ollie, those types of guys that are doing pretty well today.
I mean, Andrus is a little bit far down the championship at the moment, but if he were to win this championship, that would give him 3 of them, which would put him at the top of the limit of Adhesion Hall of Fame.
Wow. Yeah, and that'd be quite some statement, because there are many fast guys in this top split. I mean, you could pick any of about 12 of those drivers, and you could throw each one a dartboard, and they all have a good chance of winning most races.
There's a few drivers here that started off with GT3s that have started to branch out to do the F3s as well, and they're fast at those. I think it's maybe a little bit surprising if you've done mainly GT3s, quite how delicate the F3s are. Just wheels fall off, just of their own accord. But
yeah, yeah, but that's great to see that they're participating in this league and helping us build it as a community, and just enjoying racing together. And as we see, looks like David Lyne is trying to hold off Rhys Crichton. Oh, and that's a bit of a too much curve for Rhys there. It's going to slow him down. And as we see, Jeff Hancock and Mark Innis continue to battle. Looks like Chris Forrester's dropped off. You can see he's dropped down a position in the standing. Something must have happened to him. So very close between these two. Jeff's having good showing this round, and of course Mark won the last race.
Yeah, shame for Cape Red though, because he was second in the championship, I think.
He was, yeah, and he's probably one of my picks for the Club 1500. He seems to be a GT3 specialist, as we do see Chris Forrester. And I think that's Michael Messenger behind him. I wonder if he's going to let him past where possible. He does indeed. That's a smart move.
Yeah, he's got to be careful about getting himself an off track though when he lets people past. But yeah.
You just see on the timings line is just keeping in touch with Walker at the moment.
This is a change for the lead.
Change for the lead. I wonder if that's a tactical switch between obviously two teammates. Did Lee feel he had a bit more pace than Rick? And he said maybe some internal communication say, hey.
Yeah, I mean, look, Steve's gaining on them here. So, you know, he was, what, 1.5 seconds? Now he's within 7/10. So,
yeah.
Possibly they communicated, or possibly they just, you know, like kind of common sense, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a good spot. So you still going to stick with Lee Harding, Rick Barrow as your season favourites for the championship so far?
On the first couple of races, yeah. I mean, I just don't know. I mean, they've been so strong in the first few races, but you know, have they really? I mean, it's, you know, obviously they've stepped it up, but is that track specific? You know, like because at the end of I think they joined midway through last season, and they were there in the top 5, but they weren't, you know, at the front every time. So, you know, have they kind of started really stepping up their game, or are these tracks that they really like, or both?
And as suspected, a bit of, sorry to interrupt there, Dave, it looks like Rick Barrow just went into the pits. As I suspected, I think he was burning a lot more fuel than his teammate Lee, so they're going to probably try it, one doing the undercut and one trying the overcut, and I guess Steve's going to have to pick and choose what he does.
It's a risky move pitting at this point, because that's going to put him like behind, you know, about 2/3 the way down the top split, right? So yeah, I don't know, and a lot of those drivers are going to be going for quite a lot longer.
Absolutely, and he might get stuck behind some of the Club 1500 who are just passing him now. And that's Janeman Proos from Club 1500. He's in the pit. Stephen Kernick also. Seeing some of the South Africans coming in. So this... Now Lee Harding in the Lamborghini has got Steve grinning on his tail. A bit of a gap to Ollie Walker.
You've got to say Steve's right in it here, really. You know, he's now only 4/10 away from the lead.
Yeah, it's great to see. I guess he was going to be my season's pick of who I expect to come out with the championship. As we see a spin ahead. Who is that? That's Paul Gerber. That looks like his second spin of the race. Really unfortunate. But we kept it in one piece. That's the main thing.
You do generally find that Steve is, you know, he's doesn't. Have you seen him get pole yet? Has he had a pole position? I can't remember seeing one.
I think to memory. He's came close. I mean, he's been in the top 2.
He seems a lot stronger in the race. There's quite a big disparity by between his qualifying and race, but I mean it's kind of more useful to be stronger at the race compared to Line, who's the opposite way around, I think.
Yeah, and that's Jeff Hancock's coming in from the lead for his pit stops. That gives Mark Innis the lead in the Club 1500.
That's Ollie Walker having trouble there. Look, that's Line going.
Yeah, what's happened there? Yeah. I wonder if he's went off track. That's bunched them right up because there's Rhys Crichton and Imola not too far behind. So all that time that he built up to get ahead of Dave is now kind of collapsed. And that's gone to waste just before the pit stops as well. He's going to be disappointed with himself, but he'll keep his head down and keep going. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of pit strategies these guys are going to play out.
I think Dom started to drop a little bit back from that group at the moment. I'm not seeing him in shot, so there he is. You can just see him there.
Yeah.
But he's dropped back a little bit.
I wonder if he's going to go the extra lap compared to the others. I know he has got a magic button somewhere that seemingly shuts his fuel gauge. And Lee Harding still out. It's going to be interesting, the fuel usage between Lee Harding and Steve Green, whether they've managed to use the same amount of fuel or whether someone's gained an advantage. I suspect Lee has gained an advantage from staying behind Rick for the best part of 10 laps.
I mean, it makes a little bit of difference, but unless it means that you can do 0 stops, I don't think it's going to make enough difference, to swing it massively in your favour. It might get you another extra half a lap or something, I guess.
Yeah, I think you're right. The thing that's going to take most of, or come into play most, is the kind of incident limit and the drive-through. If someone's going to pick up one of those, it really is going to take a hit. As we see Ollie Etris making a move there.
I would definitely like to see instant points, because I think as somewhat towards the end of the race, the way people, if they're bordering on a penalty, you can see it in the way they drive, right? Like if they're 1 or 2 points away from a penalty, they'll have to drive much more conservatively, and it can slow them down, right?
Yeah, absolutely. As we've seen Ollie Walker gone into Rivazza, that, I think he's in a Lamborghini, isn't he? Yeah. You can see the tail waggling a little bit. It doesn't like to be told to brake when it's going at full speed. Someone coming out of the pits, I think that's someone in the Club 1500. He's gonna, yes, Adrian King, doing the good thing in letting the top split past. Adrian King, I think he got some points last time round. He'll be looking to pick up some more.
I think it's, I just want to say, for sort of blue flags and for people having to let leaders through, it's not easy, right? Like you have them, coming up right behind you. You've got to try and do something sensible. It's really easy to try and do something sensible to let them pass, and then be unpredictable, right? It's not easy. Oh, what's going on here?
Speaking of unpredictable, something's gone on there. I think different braking points. That's given David Line P4. So I wonder what happened there.
Well, I'm not sure if that was a position change. I think that was back markers. That line went up behind. That had a big fight going on, and they ran off the road. Obviously, you can see like Ollie's just another second or two up the road now. So that's really cost Line.
That's commentator's curse there about letting lap traffic through, but Oh, and there we see Rhys and Turmalaring into the pits. Dave's continuing on.
Well, they probably fancy the fact that that they're being held up by Line there, but I think Line was held up by the traffic, so now Line's got a little bit of a gap in front of him. Let's see if he can make the most of it.
Yeah, best of luck to him. And we see Shane Abbott. We haven't seen much of him this race. He's in 8th position, and one of his stablemates, Ash Cooper, is just coming out of the pits from one arse to another. And Lee Harding, I would expect him to stop in the next 2 or 3 laps. There can't be much fuel left. He's still got Steve Greening not too far behind him. It's a brave choice bringing that Lamborghini to Imola, because it doesn't like being told to slow down on those, especially when coming downhill into Ravazza. You can feel the car shake as the tail squirms.
I think that some of these cars might have a reasonable amount of fuel left, With 50 minutes left, I think they might have 5 minutes left at least. Maybe 7 or 8.
We'll soon find out. There's Rhys Crichton. He's made his stop now. And I think that's Will Burnett in front of him, but he's still got his stop to make. And that is Lee, in fact, Lee into the pits.
So Messenger's up to 6th now in the Ford. I mean, some of that's down to people pitting, but yeah, he's still going. He's not in a wall.
No, he's not in the wall, and that's the main thing. And Don Parker still got his stop to take as well. Here's Shane. He looking to make a move on, I think, is that Marin Hoogeveen? Yeah, it is indeed Marin Hoogeveen. So this is a battle for position. But Marin hasn't taken his pit stop yet, so I wonder if he's gonna try hold on to this. The big grunting sound of the Mercedes. In fact, he is now into the pits, and Shane using every inch of the track to get some slipstream. And here is Rhys Crichton and Will Burnett.
So Rhys has pitted and Will hasn't.
Yeah, I wonder if Will knows about that. But here is a battle for position. This is Tour and Ollie Ettridge. So I think it looks like Ollie Ettridge has jumped Tour in the pit. No, in fact, I am mistaken. He was just slightly ahead coming into the pits. But again, these two very similar skilled, similar lap times.
Well, I'm just not used to seeing Mallorin not in the McLaren. He drives the McLaren at all the tracks where you just wouldn't drive the McLaren, but this time he's decided not to, so that's interesting.
Yeah, I guess the BMW is going to find going over the sausage curbs. Oh, and Ollie Walker goes from bad to worse. He's had to reverse in the pits slightly. And there we go, Dom Parker getting his moment of glory in first position. Well done, Dom. Keep going. All to play for. And we see Steve Greening and Lee Harding battling for what will be effective first position.
So is Dom going to actually? I mean, you've got to pass the start-finish straight, haven't you, to clock a lap in the lead?
Yeah.
Is he going to do that? It only counts as being a lap led, doesn't it?
Yeah, indeed.
Steve's very close now. Look at this.
Yeah. Steve Greening can sense a P1 position.
He's pretty sensible though, Steve. You know, like he don't often see him go for like sort of even anything resembling a dive bomb. He's pretty patient.
Yeah, he's pretty clinical. He doesn't force it. Here comes Dom. Has that extra lap pushed his position further up or not? We'll soon find out when the others come round. Especially with the likes of Ollie, Ettridge and Tourmalin battling.
Lee managed to really get a gap there to Steve. There, I don't know if Steve made a slight mistake.
Yeah, could be possible. That's Mark Innis from the lead of the Club 1500 coming in also. As we see Don Parker coming out, he almost comes out into that battle between Ollie Ettridge and Tourmalin. So he has made up some time from that extra lap out. Rhys Crichton and David Lyne still battling.
Yeah, and I guess Lyne pit quite a long time after Rhys there, but they've come out in the same position. But what's interesting is the fact that Ollie Ettridge and Malarin have both jumped Walker and Lyne.
Yeah, and that was Don Parker going wide.
And here's Dom. He's jumped a few cars there.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, absolutely. It's a good, but he can just sit in front of these guys, try and stay ahead.
I think Lyne feels like he pretty urgently needs to get past him there.
He does. You can see from the movement of the car. He really is looking. He's probably going to have to wait to go into the bottom of the Vazza. He's already looking.
Yeah, he is looking, isn't he?
Is he going to make it stick?
Oh, well, it just kind of forced him into a bit of an error there, really, didn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit of a chicken. He's probably got a bit of a slowdown.
Well, let's see though, because I mean, if Dom's running a lot less downforce than Lyne here, he might just blast straight past him on the straight. So
you're right, yeah.
It might be short-lived.
Dan Rice making up 14 positions this race. Excellent effort from him. Also Stephen Kernick, 7 positions as well in the Club 1500. So Dom's
look at
showing
this
on the outside.
Or I think he's just about held him off there.
Yeah. I think it looks like David Lyne's got better braking capabilities because of the downforce. So he's going to have to use that to his advantage. And here's Dou Gerber from Team Try Hard, up into 6th position in the Club 1500. Great effort from him. And this is Dan Rice. He's battling here with.
So Steve's fallen 2.5 seconds behind Lee at the moment. So.
Yeah, I wonder what happened, whether he went off track or. Yeah, he surely went off track for that amount of time to be lost.
And look where Rick is. I mean, obviously he's back into 3rd, but pitting that early has lost him a lot of time.
Yeah, it has indeed. So it looks like the overcut has been the way to go.
I mean, that's a lot of time. I wonder whether he maybe put in too much fuel or something as well, because it's a hell of a gap. Considering he was second, only half a second behind Lee at the time when he pitted.
Yeah. So, Dou Gerber fighting for 5th position with Dan Rice and Chris Forrester. There's a good battle going on there. And here comes Lyne. He's going to be a sitting duck for Don Parker.
I think he might be alright on this lap. I think Dom just let off there slightly.
Yeah,
like a slight lift to be conservative. He just saw that he's not going to get a run here. So what's the point? I'm just going to back off slightly. Sensible.
Yeah. So a quick run down the top split. Lee Harding's leading the way from Steve Greening, Barrow, Ettridge, Malaren, Ollie Walker, David Lyne in 7th, Dom Parker in 8th, Crichton in 9th, Michael Messenger back into 10th, so he's made his way up a little bit. Club 1500, Innis, Hancock's, Preuss, Kernick, Rice, Gerber, Forrester, Gibson, Cruz, Cooper round out top 10 with Mitchell Day in 11th, Edwards, Weaver, Hill and Barlow out up into the top 16. So we still have quite a few cars running. And as you can see from the track map, they're pretty much scattered all over the place. And we see Du Gerber, he's probably going to be making a move on Dan going into Tamburello here. He's got the speed and the exit from the last corner. And here he goes. He's got the inside line. Get him on the brakes. Great overtake. And that's job done for him. Up into 5th position. Well done, Du.
I think with Innis first here, is that going to put him in the lead?
It's going to be close. It depends on Janneman Preuss. He's sitting in 3rd at the moment. And Janneman Preuss is had some quite good results. I know he'd done quite well he won Silverstone the first race. So it is going to be close between those two. Oh, and that's Don Parker throwing it up the inside of David Lyne. That was a brave move.
I mean, what's surprising here, I mean, obviously we saw earlier on there was a big sort of backmarker incident where Lyne lost quite a lot of time. Maybe that was part of the reason for Malaren and Ettridge getting past him. But I'm surprised they jumped Walker too. Maybe something happened with Walker at a similar time down to a backmarker or something or other. Because I'm surprised that they jumped Walker.
Yeah, so we see Chris Forrester getting it wrong at the Variante Alta. We did see Ollie, and that's Paul Gerber taking a chunk of the curb. But I did see Ollie Walker, he did have to reverse in his pit box, so that did take a bit of time. And Mitchell Day, I'm not sure where on the track that is, it might be at Pertella, as Don Park is defending from David Lyne. There's about 5 minutes left of the race, so he has to put his hammer down. David Lyne's already looking for a path through.
Well, Rhys is probably sitting there thinking, well, I mean, might get these 2 positions there.
Yep, exactly. I think Lyne is just going to have to sit in behind at the moment.
Well, he's not gaining on Dom down here, is he?
Yeah. And that's Chris Forrester. He must have had an issue. He's now down to 10th. Time's running out for Lyne, but he's just going to have to try and... He has forced Parker into a mistake before in this race, so he's just going to have to try and do that again.
Yeah, I mean, if you you can see there the downforce difference there. Yeah. I mean, that's just... Oh, he's got... Yeah.
Wow, it's going round the outside.
That's not going to work, but I mean, maybe it would be enough to put him off, but then you got Rhys there as well, so...
Yeah, he's just got enough traction to keep Rhys ahead of him. It's a great battle between these 3.
Yeah, it's interesting when you've got, different downforce levels here, because you can see, where Lyne and I think Rhys as well have an advantage, but it's very hard to pass there,
It is indeed, yeah. Dom covering off. So it looks like Lee Harding has built quite a substantial gap of about 4 seconds. He looks like he's checked out for this race. Also in the Club 1500, Mark Innis about 7 seconds ahead of Jeff Hancock's now. So he might take the checker flag for the Club 1500, provided there are no incidents. Speaking of Mark Innis, there he is. He looks like he's going to be one of the contenders for the championship. And back to the battle with Parker, Lyne and Crichton. They're coming up to what looks like a bit of lap traffic, so hopefully they're going to move out of the way. and not interfere too much.
Well, the line's very close now.
I was taking a bite of that curb. Oh, something happened there. That might be a drive-through penalty for Dom Parker for too many incidents. He did slow down, and he's relinquished the position to David Line. That's really... I do feel for Dom. He was doing well up until that point.
I'm not sure. Like I could have sworn that I saw a back marker there.
Yeah, that
had kind of disappeared. So maybe, I don't know. Maybe Dom crashed into a back marker and it just sent the back marker into oblivion.
There was smoke, but couldn't see the car go off the track. But
something happened there.
Yeah. Another lap car. Hopefully he's going to pull over to the side and let these two go past. So what was a 3-car battle is now going to be down to a 2-car battle for, believe it or not, 7th position. Ollie Walker is about 5 seconds up the road, but he's still... Well, that's one way of getting out of the way. I'm not sure who that was, but as we see Dom enter the pits.
That's kind of the quality of the field, really. Like that, this is the fight over 7th.
It is indeed. You're right there, Dave. Wow. And these guys seem to be on similar setups. Oh, I think we might have a car off the track up ahead. So poor Dom Parker. Not only has he had a drive-through, he's just lost the position to Michael Messenger as well in the Ford of all cars. But Michael Messenger will be happy with that, considering it's probably not been his best race. Some extra points. Turo Millar, excellent showing from him, up in 5th. And let's not forget Ollie Ettridge as well, who's just ahead of him.
I mean, they did a great job at jumping Line and Ollie Walker during the pit stop phase. Yeah. I'm quite surprised, really, because I don't really know what made that difference.
No, I can't think of why that's worked out like that. But Ollie Walker's still got probably one more lap. Oh no, in fact they're not going to have one more lap, because Barney is waving his checkered flag, and that means Lee Harding has won at Imola in race 3 of our GT3 season. Congratulations to Lee. Steve Greening takes 2nd place, and Rick Barrow rounds out the podium positions. Well done, Rick. Good result for him. Excellent results for Ollie Ettridge and Turo Millar. Ollie Walker, he'll feel a little bit indifferent about that, as we see David Line and Rhys Crichton go across the finish line. We've seen Stu Gerber, Dan Rice and Manuel Cruz take 5th, 6th and 7th in the Club 1500 along with Chris Forrester.
And this is a Ford finishing in the top 10.
Wow. Well done Michael Messenger. That's some achievement. Give a round of applause to him. Dom Parker, he's going to be a bit gutted. 10th position. I mean, it is some points, but it could have been so much better. Shane Abbott in 11th. I'm not sure. Maybe he just didn't have pace today. He did have pace in Silverstone.
Silverstone, yeah.
Might just not have been the track for him today.
So you can see there that Steve got within 1.6 seconds of Lee at the end, but I don't know. I mean, last few laps of the race, you're gonna win it. You got 4 or 5 seconds. The person in second, you sort of start to manage that gap, don't you? But
yeah. And here we see Stephen Kernick taking 4th position in the Club 1500. Well done, Stephen. Great result for him. That's going to give him a good haul of points. Still got the last couple of cars to go through, but it looks like Mark Innis takes P1 in the Club 1500, followed by Jeff Hancox and Janeman Preuss. Well done to those guys. That's gonna spice things up for the championship standings, which we'll just see in a second, as we see Lee Harding, Rick Barrow coming into the pits. So in the top split, Lee Harding takes first position, followed by Stephen Greening, Rick Barrow, Ollie Ettridge, Turo Millarn, Ollie Walker, David Lyne, Rhys Crichton, Michael Messenger and Dom Parker take the top 10 positions, and you can see the points there, followed by Abbott, Gerber, Burnett, Hugavin and Stott from the 15 cars that we had start on the top split. We'll probably see more cars join us in the next round. And here we have for the Club 1500, as we see the Ferrari of Mark Innis. So Mark Innis taking first position, followed by Jeff Hancock, Janeman Preuss, Kernick, Gerber, Rice, Cruz, Forrester, Cooper and Jason Gibson taking the top 10 positions, followed by Jake Weaver, Edwards, Day, Hill, Meisters, Adrian King, Jason Weaver and Joe Barlow round out those who appeared tonight on the Club 1500. So well done to those guys for a great showing and great racing as well.
Quite a gap between first and fourth there. I think there was like a lap between first and fourth. It must be down to Winston. So championship standings, Rick Barrow leading the way in 156, followed by Lee Harding on 141. A bit of a gap to Steve Greening and Rhys Crichton on 128 and 124 respectively. But of course we've got a good few races left. We've probably got, and of course the drop weeks to take into account. Noticeable absentees was Andrews Fulgrave, who's sitting in 12th, and we've got Rob Miller as well. Kellen Michener didn't actually race today, I noticed as well. And in the Club 1500, Janeman Preuss 167 is just ahead of Mark Innis, followed by Stephen Kernick. He's settled in third position, Stu Gerber in fourth, and Stephen K. Breton in fifth. So it looks like a strong showing from the South Africans. Us Brits will have to get their foot down in the next races. And yeah, Jeff Hancock's up to making up 10 positions there. So great effort from him and a great result. Well done, Jeff. And soon we will see the championship standings in terms of the teams. Quite a lot of people we've got in the Club 1500 in GT3.
Yeah.
I think it's in the F3s. I think it's the other way around. You know, we've got more in the top split than the 1500s. But it would be great to see more in the F3s. So the championship standings for the teams: Sleepy Time Racing, of course, leading the way on 297 points, followed by Risky Racing Blue, who have now got 239, and then Orange, who have got 221. Blackpink on 168, and Wizard of Lifton Coast making up some points there on 123. No big changes apart from the Rumblebees. Of course, David Lyne picking up some points. And we haven't seen Adam Highfield too much. No, we haven't. I think he's, he was absent because of work commitments, but let's hope that he's back for the next race, which is where?
That's a good question. I think it's at Sebring, isn't it? Yeah, so that would be the location. And the Club 1500, we see Team Heap Together on 284, the Lefties on 219, so they'll be happy. Team Tryhard Racing on 180, and then there's a bit of a gap to McLaren and TRH Sim Sport, followed by Team Fett, Arch Racing, the Back Markets and the Wizards of Lifting Coast only on 14, but still quite a few races left for them to get some points on the board. So, what do you think of the race there, Dave?
It was a good race, I think. But you know, Sleepy Time Racing seem pretty strong, don't they? But Steve, Steve stuck with them. I think, but they're going to have problems if Michael Messenger just keeps on driving the Ford.
I think we'll see a different car next time.
There it is, in all of its glory.
Any drivers that were outstanding for you today, or any manoeuvres?
I thought that Ollie Ettridge and and McLaren were quite impressive, the way they made up those 2 positions. I mean, lots of people were, but I thought that was quite an interesting phase of the race where they that they managed to make up a couple of positions there.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Also, I like the move that Don Parker pulled on David Lyne. That was quite brave towards the end, but unfortunately that wasn't to be after he picked up some incident points. And I think in the Club 1500, I think probably my driver of the day is going to go to Jeff Hancock's, because after the first couple of races he's picked up a really good position there, so well done to Jeff. But of course we'll see how the next races pan out. Alright, I guess that wraps up everything, and we will see you at Sebring in the next couple of weeks. So from us here at the LOA, just feel free to visit the website, our Facebook page, Discord, the whole social media shenanigans, and if you want to come join race with us, you're more than welcome to. So that wraps it up here from Imola. If you want to say goodbye, Dave.
Cheers, take care.
Alright, see you next time.
Bye night.